Welcome back to Deep in State. I'm Nick Hawks. This is sponsored by Gold Hawks. And on today's show, we've got Diego de Tommaso from Over the Reality as our guest. This episode is sponsored by Gold & Hawks & Associates, the most experienced DePIN consultancy in the space. We help projects develop strategy, messaging, and token incentives. We'll have a little bit more on us later in the show. Before we get started, make sure you hit like, subscribe, the bell, all those things that helps us bring great guests like Diego on the show. Diego, what's going on, man? Welcome to the show.
Hi, everybody. A pleasure to be here.
I'm psyched to have you on. It was neat to have you guys reach out and see what's going on. Let's start out a little bit with your background because it seems pretty darn impressive. Tell me a little bit about you.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was a kind of long trip that bring me here. So, yeah, I think it all started in 2014 when a friend of mine told me about this strange thing called Bitcoin. Back then, I was doing other stuff. I mean, I was working for a consultancy company. I was working for PwC. So I was quite busy with my mind on other things. But 2017, basically, I started mining Ethereum back then. And that bring me to the rabbit hole, basically. And 2018, I met my co-founder. This is Davide Cutini. Basically, he was running a B2B business doing AR. And so together, we dream about building a platform instead of building, just customized projects for companies. And so we decided to launch this project. It was inspired by the Decentraland that was doing this metaverse that was a VR metaverse. So we thought, and back then, I mean, it was not, it's so clear that could work because, NFTs were not a thing, metaverse were not a thing, was not even a used word. And so we decided to take this concept and bring it to augmented reality. And yeah, I mean, we launched the project in 2018, writing the white paper. 2020, we went live. And yeah, I mean, was a great ride until here. And I mean, a lot of things changed. The core value proposition stayed the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, here we are.
Right on. It's good to see. My co-founder is another Big Four guy. He's working at Deloitte before we brought him over to Web3. So neat to see how that movement is happening. So let's dive in then to what is Over the Reality. What do you guys do? Walk me through the whole thing.
Yeah, so Over the Reality, it's a spatial web platform. I mean, this is the way we call it today. I mean, we'll be calling it metaverse platform and so on. But yeah, really the core idea is to augment the world with geolocalized augmented reality. So merging physical and virtual world through AR, but AR that is connected to specific locations. So the way we do it is using three main layers. So one is an ownership layer. So if you want to publish content in a location, you need to decide who can publish what, where. So just imagine the web. I mean, in the web, you have web domains. You decide if you own a web domain like Coca-Cola.com, you decide the content over there. In our case, you don't have a 2D page, but we have the physical world. So we have this spatial domain. So you buy a spatial domain, you can publish content in that location through our platform. So this is this ownership layer that tells you who can publish where.
Hang on a second. I want to make sure I understand it. So there's this spatial domain thing where if I've got a little cookie company, I would buy maybe the sidewalk in front of my cookie company. Is that what that's what you're talking about?
Exactly. And then you can publish content over there. I don't know, maybe you want to build on a touristic experience. You buy the hexagon because we break down the world in hexagons in front of the Colosseum. You can publish AR content over there. So instead of publishing in a web page, in a flat web page, you publish in a space, so in the location. When people is in the location, they can see the content. So after that, after you decide, you define where you can publish, who can publish where, you have another big problem. And this is actually our DePIN twist, the reason why we went in DePIN. Because basically, you need a way to relocalize in space. So the easy way to do that, because the system needs to project the content that basically you decide to be there. So the easy way to do that is using GPS. But the problem with GPS is that the GPS is not very precise. Outdoor is like 4 to 6 meters. It's okay for some use cases, but not all of them. But it totally doesn't work indoor, like 20 meters error or something like that. So if you have our vision to augment the world with AR to build this spatial web, basically you need another system to be precise. So this system is called Visual Positioning System. And it requires for you to map a location, to have a 3D map of the physical location in order to relocate you in space precisely. Okay. And so this is basically data about how the 3D structure of the location is built. Think about Google Maps, but built for AR. So where you don't only have pictures, but you really have a 3D reconstruction of the location.
Got
So
it.
we understood it very very early, because at the beginning we've been starting with only GPS, and yeah, the experience was good but not perfect at the end of the day. And so we decided really to make a difference and to have also a competitive advantage. We had to build this, and so we've been building this system since 2 years. And in the last year, basically, we launched the beta program. So the way it works, people can go in location, take out their smartphone. Any smartphone is good enough for that. Just they need to have a camera. They take pictures around 3 minutes. It's just in the back end. I mean, it's like taking a video, but in the back end, we take a lot of photograms.
Yep.
And then we have AI algorithms that stick this together, building a 3D representation of the location. And so this is very important data, because it allows two things. So one is the AR experience that I was mentioning. So content will be exactly in the location you want with 5 centimeters accuracy. So very precise. You can really,
okay.
Yes, you can really augment whatever you like as you like. So the things will be exactly where you want, even if GPS doesn't work. But the second thing that, yeah, please.
I was going to say, does the type of phone matter if I've got an iPhone or an Android or some fancy,
Well,
9 megapixel?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, you just need to have, a $200 Android phone will work. Of course, if you have an iPhone, the quality of the mapping will be better. But yeah, I mean, you just need to have an RG camera. 2 megapixel, 4 megapixel pictures are enough. So really, it's not a big deal. 3 to 5 minutes work. We generate between 500 and 1,000 pictures, and then we use AI to stick it together. Yeah, it's a lot of data. It's a huge amount of data. It's between on average is between 500 and megabytes and 1 gigabyte for each map. The data they collect is massive regarding that.
Jeez, yeah. But then you know where you are in the store. So if you walk in and you make a left and you see one thing, okay.
Yeah, I mean, once it's uploaded, it's processed, then, I mean, when you are in the place and you want to relocate, I mean, the process is very fast. We just have the stream, one photogram for your camera, and we tell you where we are exactly in space. But there's another interesting thing that comes out from this 3D data, that is a digital twin of the location. So there are some new algorithms that came out lately, like NERF and Gaussian splatting, that allows you with AI to take these pictures, stick those together, and create a 3D representation of the location. So now, not only you have very precise AR for spatial computing, but also you have a digital twin of the location. So you can also visit it remotely. It's like recreating in 3D, maybe your shop or a location you care about, without having a 3D editor to do that. Just take pictures, 3 to 5 minutes, and we generate it for you. So this data, again, is very, very valuable. And basically, the goal right now, I mean, the DePIN part of our project is incentivizing people with their phones to go around the world and map it, and we incentivize them with tokens. So there's 2 ways you can do that. One, you can just map and own the data. You just mint it as an NFT and you take it for yourself, or you sell it to us and we pay you with OVR tokens. And this has been working very well so far. I mean, we generated 30,000 maps in the last 8 months. And, it's a massive amount of data, because, I mean, I already told you about the amount of pictures and the data of the pictures. But the interesting thing is that if we think at our Web2 competitors, the Web2 competitors that we have, for example, is Niantic. Niantic is a company that is beyond Pokemon Go. So they have a similar system that is called Lightship, and they have 100,000 maps. So basically, in 8 months, we generated the 30% of the maps they have. But the reason why we was able to do that is because we are able to incentivize people to do this. I mean, they don't have the power. I mean, they don't have the Web3 power to actually engage a community and incentivize them with tokens. So we really think that this case really shows how, I mean, these DePIN systems are capable of generating an asset, so this 3D structure of locations, that otherwise using a Web2 business model is very difficult to obtain, even if you are a big company. And so we are super excited about this demonstration, basically, of what we can do with this system of incentivization.
Yeah, no, it sounds a lot like the Hive Mapper versus Google thing. Cool. So now I've got a good understanding of it. In fact, we're going to take a quick break now. We'll talk about today's sponsor, 𝐿Hawks & Associates. We're a DePIN consultant firm helping projects with strategy, messaging, and token incentives. We run a blog for founders over at goldenhawks.com. produce this show and most importantly work with the core teams and communities of your favorite projects in the space to ensure tokenomics and incentives are fully aligned to build out some of those badass physical infrastructure networks in the world. If your project needs help in any of these, check out goldandhawks.com. Okay, Diego, so I've got a good idea of how the thing works. Let's do some basic stuff. What chain is it on? What's the chain you guys are using?
So we was born on Ethereum, and then we basically bridge it both to Polygon and Binance chain. So all the minting and the stuff is actually on Polygon right now. I would say that for the trading of the token, the most of the liquidity is still on Ethereum, like in many cases.
Sure.
But basically, the infrastructure is running on Polygon right now. Yeah.
Okay. And then a couple points that does image quality matter for how much people get rewarded? Or is there like location? Are there any kind of incentives to do a job differently or better?
No, that's a very good question. So the location is something very important. So of course, we have this crazy idea of creating the largest 3D map of the world, but we don't want to map the whole world. Nobody can do that. And maybe Google can do that with the satellites. But basically what we do, we incentivize to map important locations in the world. So our goal is to map all of the most important locations in the world. Now, the second question here, what are the good locations? It's very difficult to answer this question because the world is huge. So, but we have a very good advantage on that because when I was mentioning you at the beginning that I've been selling these digital lands, well, we sold, say, 780,000 of these lands to 30,000 people, wallets, let's say. And all of them, when they was buying, they asked themselves, where is a good location that I can buy? So this map of both locations is like a heat map on what are the good locations in the world. It's like a wisdom of the crowds on what are the good locations in the world. So basically we incentivize more depending on how hot the area is. So for example, if you go in Manhattan, there was a lot of lands bought there. So the price there will be higher than in other, like if you want to map in the desert, we don't give you nothing. You can do that. It's open. I mean, it's permissionless, but we are not going to buy it from you. But if you map one of the locations that have been bought and that are in hot areas, we will reward you because we want to buy it back from you. So that's the idea, and that's the important thing, because of course, otherwise this would be unrealizable. But I mean, made like this, it's about right now. I mean, let's say that is 800,000 maps. Let's say that we want to map only the ones where there is higher density. We go down to 500,000. Then it becomes a reachable target. And with 500,000 maps location, we will have really the most important location in the world. So the utility of the platform will be very high, because if you want to publish AR content, you will not have to go to map it. Somebody else will already map the location. And this is another important point, is that this data right now is valuable inside of our platform. And I mean, also this is a problem, with many DePIN projects. They generate a lot of data maybe, but is there a buyer somewhere out there? So in our case, we have a direct buyer inside of our platform because it's used from the users. We have 1 million registered users, and so they can actually experience AR through this precise geolocation. But our vision is that this data will be valuable for anybody that want to perform spatial computing. Everybody that want to relocate in space will need this data. They can buy from us, they can buy from somebody else, but the problem is to generate this data and to find the right way to generate it and incentivize the people. So that's why, I mean, we really believe that this is this has become the core of our project. So,
and do you need anything fancy, or they just download an app and they connect a wallet and they're good to go? Like, what's the process for me starting to use this?
Download the app. Right now, we started with a closed participation. So right now, you need to get an invite. It's not too difficult. You just go in our Discord and you get an invite and you can participate to the rewards. Otherwise, if you just want to map, you just download the app, you map, is for free. I mean, but if you want to have the rewards, you need to have the invitation code. We did it because this is hardware intensive. So we have 50 GPUs here in the office to crunch all the data. So we decided to take the invitations to avoid this to explode and having too many people on queue. But right now, I mean, we have 1,400 people that are mapping, and the infrastructure that we have right now is enough. So as the other people will come, we'll just buy more GPUs. And it looks like back in the days when we were mining Ethereum. Now we mine pictures, let's say.
Now it's something else. I love it. I love it. We'll have to talk on another show about where you're going to get those GPUs and if those are going to be decentralized as well. But Diego, thanks a ton for coming on and explaining this thing to us. We'll have links down in the description to go find Over the Reality. But man, thanks a ton for your time. I know founders are really busy. Really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks a lot. It was a pleasure. Thank you.